Am I the asshole for yelling at my boyfriend for making me leave my best friend's wedding? My boyfriend, 27, and I, 26, have been together for 2 years. He's a good heart and is normally rational, but his one issue is that he expects to accompany me in every occasion no matter how big or small. He even went with me to my ex-boyfriend's funeral after days of begging. Now my best friend got married few days ago, it was very small and only close family and friends were invited. My boyfriend couldn't come because of the +1 rule. He pitched a hissy fit saying my best friend has no respect for my relationship and was shocked when he learned that I was still going to attend. He told me that if he can't go then I'm expected to not go as well, but that is my best friend and I had to respect her rules. He gave me an ultimatum: either we go together or I stay home with him. I ended up going cause again I respected my friend's rules. He was angry with me and kept calling the entire 2 hours drive, then stopped. Later I got a text from his friend telling me my boyfriend, got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. I freaked out. He gave me the address and I had to leave the wedding and told my friends why. I was crying the entire drive home and kept calling his friend but got no response. I arrived to the hospital and asked about my boyfriend and they checked and told me he wasn't there. My anxiety reached 160% as I kept calling his friends one by one. I just went home and there he was, along with his friend. He saw me and said that he was sorry, but this was the only he can get me home after I left him alone. After the initial shock I just blew up yelling at him about lying and making me leave my friend's wedding and having me literally go to the hospital and freaking out cause of him. I kicked his friend out and we got into an argument. He kept talking about how much I love him, thus I left, which is my own doing not his, and he was just trying to see if I really chose my friend's wedding over him. He then argued that my friend caused this and I shouldn't agree with her to exclude him. I said what he did was horrible and called him horrible and then went to my room. It was awful cause my friends kept calling to check in on him cause they thought he was really at the hospital. He said I overreacted and that I yelled at the wrong person. Am I the asshole? Did I go too far? Info based on request from a user. He has a history of mental health issues but got better the past few months. He also had a recent death in his family which really affected his health generally. This is abuse. Not the asshole. This is called coercive control and is a form of domestic violence. You should leave for sure. Not the asshole. What the actual fuck is wrong with that person? You are absolutely not in the wrong. He made you think he was hurt, for God's sake. I try to not be one of those people that say this, but run fast. This is psychological abuse. Not the asshole. At all. Your boyfriend is a control freak and the longer you stay with him, the deeper those controlling lies will get. Look how far he went this time. You could have gotten into an accident by driving stressed out and sobbing behind the wheel. I hope you realize this isn't safe for you. Get out while you still can. Not the asshole. This is a dangerous, manipulative, unsafe relationship and you need to exit it. Just the fact that you had to ask a bunch of strangers if you were the asshole for yelling at your boyfriend because he faked getting into an accident after not being invited to a wedding with you and then immediately flipped it back on you when you found him chilling with his friends means that he's been pulling this abusive shit for a while. He did it to see who you would choose. Him or your best friend. Please take some time away from him, just a few days, and then read this post back to yourself. And then make an exit plan. Not the asshole. Leave. Now. This is abuse. Girl. # why are you still with him? #. He literally got his friend to text you that he was in hospital due to accident, cause he wasn't invited to your friend's wedding. This is not normal behavior. He doesn't need to go everywhere you're invited, especially when he isn't. He not only ruined your best friend's wedding for you, but the bride and all your friends that was there and concerned too. Dump his ass. Not the asshole, but you will be if you stay in longer. Am I the asshole for siding with my mother when she and my wife got in an argument? My wife and I had our first child around 2 months ago. She was home isolated during her entire pregnancy after the 6th-month mark because of some pregnancy complications. We had also agreed that the first 2 months after birth our parents and siblings would be the only ones allowed to visit and see the baby and our friends and rest of the relatives could wait. As soon as the baby turned 2 months my wife started trying to get back into her social life again. Sometimes she'd bring the baby with her but sometimes she'd expect me to babysit. Whenever I couldn't babysit she'd call her mom to ask her if she could care for the baby for few hours. My wife's a great mom and she truly cares for our baby, but it's frustrating how she feels the need to go out the entire time. One day while she was out shopping with a friend of hers. I was babysitting the kid and my mom visited me and asked where my wife was. I told her that she's out with a friend. My mom got very mad about how my wife went out and she told me I have no backbone for not calling her out and telling her to stay home with the baby. I told my mom I'll handle this. My mom waited until my wife got back home and she started scolding her. It wasn't a proud moment of me and I really didn't want my mom to get involved, but my wife needed to hear it from someone else too. My mom told my wife that she's irresponsible and that she should cut down her meetings with friends and stay home to care for the kid as a proper mother would. My wife tried to defend herself saying how I was always out with my friends both during her pregnancy and after she gave birth, but both I and my mom tried to explain how me going out is not the same as her going out. My mom told her that the little walks and coffee hangouts with her friends are over and that she better get used to the fact that her social life will now be limited. It sucks, but that's how it is. I agreed with my mother on all that and my wife is not speaking to me for days. She even sleeps in the guest room now and took the baby's crib there as well. She will only cook for herself and the baby and not for me. My Mill and my Sil have texted me saying I was a huge asshole for this and so was my mom, so I should not be surprised my wife is acting like that towards me. You are the asshole. Notice how you say taking care of your own kid is babysitting. You didn't even mention the amount of time she goes out versus you, but you just want us to trust you that it's different for you. You don't even mention speaking to your wife before you mom said anything. Too bad your wife has 2 kids at home. You are the asshole simply for referring to looking after your own child as babysitting. Info. Why is you going out different from hers? You are the asshole. It's not babysitting when it's your kid. It's parenting. Move back in with your mother. Your wife deserves a partner, not a second child. Your mom told her that going on walks and coffee hangouts with her friends are over? And your mom says you don't have a backbone? Having a backbone is telling your mom to stay in her lane. She has no authority over your wife. You are the asshole and so is your mother. You are the asshole. She'd expect me to babysit. Nah dude, she expects you to parent. It's not babysitting when it's your child. Your mom needs to stay in her lane and you need to re-evaluate how you think about yours and your wife's roles. You are the asshole babysitting? I hope your wife leaves you. You deserve it. She deserves to have friend time and alone time, especially after multiple months of isolation. It isn't being a bad parent, it's making time for self-care while her child's father gives her a break and steps up as a parent. Your mommy is also an asshole. If my Mill said that shit to me, it would be the last time she had the opportunity. That would be the end of our relationship. Good luck. You will need it. Ah, that sucks op. Sorry to hear you're in this position. But don't worry, if your wife won't cook for you I am sure you can ask your mommy to breastfeed you. You are the asshole. Am I the asshole for getting upset at my girlfriend for giving my mom a tattoo? My 25 male girlfriend, 22 female, and I have been together for over a year. She's covered in tattoos which I've always liked. She's always been artistic and has been tattooing herself and friends for years. My parents are more conservative and traditional, so when they planned a trip to visit us I told her to just wear longer clothes to cover them up. She refused and on the day they visited she wore a crop top with shorts which showed off most of her tattoos. I warned her again before they came in about it but she just shrugged me off. I was shocked when my parents came in and just started complimenting her on the tattoos, especially my mom. My mom spent ages to her talking about tattoos, so me and my dad went out to the backyard. When we came back in my mom rushed up to my father to show off the tattoo my girlfriend gave her. It was 4 small flowers running up her arm. She said it represented our family. My dad loved it and my mom was busy telling everyone on Facebook about it. My girlfriend then came downstairs and I asked her why would she put that on my mom without asking me. She laughed in my face and said my mom was a grown woman. My parents then took my girlfriend's side, so I just stormed off upstairs. I could hear them for hours downstairs until my parents left. It's been a few days and I can't bring myself to talk to her after she did that behind my back. Info. Why are you upset exactly? Because your grown mom didn't ask your permission to get a tattoo? Or because your experienced girlfriend agreed to give a grown woman a tattoo that the grown woman wanted? Or is it because you're upset your parents are more open-minded than you thought? You are the asshole. Edit. Put in the dots so judgment counts. You are the asshole for asking your girlfriend to cover up, for assuming your parents would be so judgmental they would dislike her for her ink, and especially for being angry at 2 consenting grown-ass women on what they decided to do to their bodies. Your parents might keep her and ditch you. You are the asshole. Your mom got a tattoo. Your girlfriend gave it to her, and your dad is on board. Why the fuck are you upset? It's like being upset that everything is going great for you. Where's your sense of perspective? You are the asshole. $20 says after she dumps your ass for behaving this way, she will still maintains a good relationship with your parents and will be doing your dad's first tattoo. You are the asshole. You can't bring yourself to talk to your girlfriend because you were wrong about literally everything in this situation, and your ego can't handle it. You are the asshole. This is hilarious. You are the asshole. Your mum, a grown adult, chose to get a tattoo. Why on earth do you think that your permission was needed? Info. How exactly long were you outside? Does your girlfriend just have ink and tattoo gun laying around the house? This story makes no sense. Am I the asshole for not returning my engagement ring after my fiancé passed away? First time posting. Sorry if I made any mistakes. I, 31F. Recently lost my fiancé, 37M, Jake. We've been together for 6 years. His death was unexpected and I'm still mourning. At the funeral, which I arranged and paid for, his brother, 32M. Jim asked me when I'm going to return the engagement ring to the family. For context, the engagement ring with which Jake proposed is an ancient family heirloom. It's a gorgeous ring, but what makes it priceless is the story behind it. Jake got the ring from his grandma a month after we started dating. He claimed he knew back then he would marry me someday and wanted to get his grandma's blessings on the ring. When he proposed, his grandma already passed away, so having the blessings put on the ring made it extra special for the both of us. I asked Jim if he's serious, to which he said yes. Apparently his long-term girlfriend Stacy saw the ring a while ago and fell in love with it and the story behind it, so she kept nagging him to get her something similar, which he couldn't. He figured since I can no longer marry Jake, he can propose to Stacy with it. I told him that he is rude, that the ring was blessed especially for Jake and I in mind, and even if that wasn't the case, bringing it up during Jake's funeral is incredibly disrespectful. After the funeral I got a massage from Stacy saying it would mean the world for her to be the new owner of the ring, and I could always think of her and Jim's wedding as the bittersweet ending to my relationship. She said the ring was blessed so one of the grandsons can marry the love of his life, and since Jim is the only living grandson left, he has a claim to it. I blocked her. My ex-Mill also reached out to me and said that although she understands my pain, I can't keep the ring since it's a family heirloom, so I should suck it up and give it to Jim. I snapped and told her no, the ring is staying with me and following me to the grave if need be. It's a beautiful symbol of Jake's love and I won't let Jim and Stacy sully that memory of him. The ring is legally mine, so all they can do is cry about it and be bitter. They keep harassing me on social media saying I'm a bad person and that I stole the family heirloom to spite Jim and Stacy out of jealousy, but I ignore them. Today I met up with my brother and he said that although Jim's approach was highly inappropriate, I'm being selfish for keeping the ring as a keepsake. I could always wear different jewelry that Jake bought me in his memory, but they could never replace an heirloom that's been in their family for generations. I'm now back home and I can't stop thinking about it. Up until this point I was sure I did everything right, but maybe I'm just being blinded by my grief. A friend suggested I ask for an objective opinion and recommend this place, so am I the asshole? Update. I'm writing this to answer some commonly asked questions and because I think I've made up my mind on what to do with the ring. 1. I met Jake's grandma. She passed away a year before our engagement and by that time I was already introduced to the family. 2. We were supposed to get married on the 31st of October 2022. We met during a Halloween party, so we thought it was fitting. My brother helped me cancel the wedding venue and catering since I didn't have the heart to do it. 3. We don't have children. Due to personal reasons we never planned on having any biological kids. However, we did plan on adopting, fostering after our marriage was finalized. 4. Stacy did mention a couple of times how gorgeous my engagement ring is and asked if she could try it on. I refused. Back then I thought she was just trying to hint to Jim he should propose already. Didn't think she was actually interested in the ring itself. 5. The ring is legally mine. In Jake's will I'm written as the beneficiary. The will was written 2 years ago and hasn't been changed since. 6. Jake passed away in a work-related accident. I claimed the life insurance plus sued the company he worked at since I believe his death was due to their negligence and could have been avoided. I'm currently in a legal battle with the company. 7. I paid for the funeral because I wanted to make sure everything was organized the way Jake would have wanted it. As horrible as it sounds, I was financially well off before Jake's death and now due to his will, life insurance and company compensation. I'm practically rich. So I had the funds to organize him a really nice funeral. 8. When I told X-Mill I'll take the ring to my grave, I meant it. When Jake passed, I considered joining him a couple of times before finally starting going to therapy. I don't think I'll ever date or get engaged again, it's too painful. 9. As for my decision, I would rather wait for hell to freeze over than let Stacy and Jim get the ring. For now, the ring is staying with me. However, I am considering the following option. Jake has one cousin, 10F, that lives far away. I used to babysit her while her parents still lived in town. I think I'll gift her the ring after she graduates HS and pay for her college tuition using the life insurance money I got. I hope that way I can do right by both Jake and his grandma. They say time heals, hopefully 8 years will be enough for me to let go of the ring. If not, I guess we'll see then. I'm not telling anyone in his family what I have planned. Let them think they've lost the ring forever. I think it's a punishment fit for their actions. By the way, I lost the comment that said this, but someone compared Stacy to Gollum. I don't know who it was, but this genuinely made me laugh for the first time in a while. Thank you. Since you paid for the funeral, and they didn't, offer to sell them the ring back for the cost of the funeral. If you're not family entitled to keep the heirloom in their opinion, you shouldn't have had to pay for the funeral expenses. The brother was an asshole to ask for it at the funeral. Otherwise keep it. Not the asshole. You were family enough to pay for the funeral. You were family enough to have grandmother's blessing. You were family enough to your partner. The ring is yours, op. The memory is yours. Gift it to someone whose love you want to bless, if you so choose. Otherwise, do what makes you happy. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They don't want it back because it's a family heirloom. They want it back because Stacy is shallow and Jim can't spend the money. If he could buy the same ring, they wouldn't care, but are using the family bees to manipulate you. Tacky and disgusting. I can't possibly imagine asking someone who lost their husband for the engagement ring back. Given that you've been together for 6 years with your late fiancé, I'd say not the asshole. You have every right, both legal and moral, to that ring. However, because it is a family heirloom and you'll never be able to marry into their family, I might look into giving it to one of their kids in 20+ years when they're ready for marriage, or give it back if you ever remarry. But that's just what I would do. You're absolutely in the right by keeping it and not returning it. Not the asshole. What's with everyone and the nonsense about family heirlooms and the ESH judgments? She was given the ring, it was meant to be hers, and just because they didn't sign a document, she doesn't get to keep it? So if they had gotten married, does she then suddenly magically become family, and then is allowed to have it even if her husband has passed? Or does she only magically be allowed to be keeper of the ring if she has a child first? Some traditions are meant to be broken for a reason. I love the tradition and totally support it, but in this case it's clear that it's hers. The tradition can die with her, and that is all right. Bittersweet ending? How entitled is she to think her marriage would ease the pain of losing your fiancé? Fuck her. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. That ring is yours. If your fiancé hadn't passed, it still would be yours, and they would have found something else for Stacy. If your fiancé hadn't passed, it would be different, but it's not. He and his grandmother intended for you to have that ring. Don't let anyone take it from you. If you couldn't have children for any reason, the ring still would have been yours without an obligation to give it to anyone. I am livid for you that he had the gall to ask for it at all, let alone at the funeral. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The asshole here is the person who just lost their brother and his first concern is to snatch the ring from his grieving SIL's finger during the funeral. I'd get it if they asked for it at a later time, but even then it would still be your choice.